The views expressed are not necessarily those of KSCJ and Powell Broadcasting Company. This program is not intended to replace the advice of doctors or other clinical providers. Consult with your practitioner to ensure the proper course of action for you.
Welcome to When Things Aren't Going Well on AM 1360, FM 94.9 KSCJ. This program is dedicated to your mental health wellness and brought to you by Family Services, a United Way partner agency. Here's your host, Art Silva.
Good morning. My name is Art Silva, and I'm with Boys and Girls Home. And with me today are my friends Brenda Geisinger and Amy Small, licensed therapists of Family Services. And we're here today to continue our forum with the public on mental wellness and to share information that could be helpful. So I'm glad to have you with us. Good morning, Brenda.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm wonderful. How about you?
Let me check. 10 fingers, 10 toes. I'm doing great. Okay. Amy, how are you today?
It is a great day to be a Saturday.
All right. Okay. Well, I love it. Sounds like the week was good, and we're just moving right along. Last week we went through some, in generality, some of the things that we're dealing with at Family Services right now with the public. We spent some time talking about adolescents. We spent some time talking about the elderly. We talked about grief. So there's so much that we continue to talk about. But how do you know out there, we're talking with the public, when you need to talk to someone? You know, it's very simple, like 5 mental health check-ins, where you could do a self-check-in and see, like Amy said previously, check up from the neck up. You can do this on your own. So we're going to give you some questions today that you can ask yourself and see where you fit in on there. And we'll try to give you some answers and some guidance along those lines. So first of all, very easy question. We should all be able to answer. How am I feeling today, mentally and physically? Amy, you want to take that one?
That can be a hard question because I think sometimes we like to fool ourselves by answering, I'm fine, I'm good, everything's going to be okay. But I think we need to look at that question and answer it honestly and really look at where are you at. Are you really fine? Are you really okay? Or are there some things that you're struggling with and they need to be addressed and named and claimed, so to speak?
Along those lines, I don't think they have to be like super big things. You can just have this overall kind of flat feeling, and that's what you're struggling with. You just can't find the pep in your step and kind of get that spark back in your life. And it's, how are you doing, really, honestly? And are you stuck somewhere?
Can this stress manifest itself in terms of headaches, stomach aches, other physical maladies?
Absolutely. And you think about when you're stressed or just not feeling as perky as you normally are, it sometimes can affect your sleep. And when you're thinking about affecting sleep, it can cause headache. It can cause maybe feeling nauseous in the morning. It can cause all sorts of physical manifestations as well. So you're right on there.
Okay, well, that's the first self-check item, is take a look at how am I feeling today? Mentally, how about that side of it? We did the physical side. How are we feeling mentally? You get up in the morning, where are your thoughts? Are your thoughts like today's? I remember reading about an autobiography of Conrad Hilton, and he said he started every day he'd start saying, "It's going to be a great day," and that's what put in place. What can we do? What can we do to reinforce that in ourselves? How do we start our day? Does everybody get up that way? I'm not sure.
I think that's a great point that you make, because while we can't control all of the circumstances and situations that go around us, we can control how we react to those situations. So going into the day with a positive attitude, saying today is going to be the best day of my life, starting up and saying those positive things to you in the morning will help maybe shape how you react to some not so great things that may happen during the day.
Interesting.
I think it's also acknowledging I'm not having a good day. Amy and I have a joke to each other with it. Is it a vinegar day or are we feeling sugar?
Yep. Yes.
And if it's a vinegar day, that we kind of know, okay, I'm a little off, but what are we going to do to turn this around, or acknowledging that and being open to what are we going to do, and being open with each other and just smiling.
And how you respond to people when you are having a vinegar day. Because that definitely can change how you respond. You might respond in a more cross way than you generally would. So So just be mindful of that.
Interesting. And how does body language play into this?
Big.
We don't talk about
Yeah, it's
big.
My face just lit up for that one. Yeah, it's big. You can definitely tell what somebody is feeling by their body language. And your body language also is putting off a vibe to others. And so the way people might approach you might be differently because of whatever vibe that you have. I have some really great colleagues and some really great friends that are not afraid to come up to me and say, hey, this is the vibe you're sending out today. Is that the message you want to send out? And it's nice to have those people. And when they're saying that to you, they're not doing it because they're trying to be mean or picking on you. They care about you, and it's different. And they're like, what's going on? Let's do a check-in. And those are important people to have in your life.
Very good. I'm with Amy Small, therapist at Family Services, and Brenda Geisinger, therapist at Family Services. And we're going through some of the 5 mental health check-ins that you can do on yourself. And we just talked about how am I feeling today, both mentally and physically. Let's take another topic here. How about what's taking up most of my headspace? What are your thoughts in there? Well, it could be so, but what's taking up most of my space? Am I allocating my feelings to the things or my time that they need to be, or is one thing affecting me more than the other? Thoughts on that, Amy?
Absolutely. I'm going to share a little story here with you. I had bought my first house. I was having my family come over, and the only thing in my head was this fabulous dessert that I saw on a food show, and I am going to make this dessert for my family. It's going to be fabulous. It wasn't occurring to me. They were coming just to spend time and see my new house. It was all this dessert, and I was snappy to my roommate, and I was making this dessert. It looked beautiful. They came and took the first bite, and their body language said it all. It was terrible. I didn't even tried it. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, I spent all day being crabby, and we ended up having ice cream and store-bought cookies, and it was wonderful, And so I think that when we look at what we are really worrying about, look at it as in 10 minutes from now, is this going to be a big deal? In 10 months from now, is this going to be a big deal? In 10 years from now, is it going to be a big deal? And adjust your thoughts accordingly. If it's something that's not going to bother you in 10 minutes, maybe you can let it go right now instead of waiting the 10 minutes.
Sometimes people have like 5 trains running through their brain. I've got this going on and this and this and this. And sometimes it's okay to let a train pass and just say it's okay to let that go. And I need to be present with what I'm dealing with right now on this particular topic instead of being overwhelmed with everything that's happening right now. And it's okay to slow down and maybe take the horse and buggy ride for a day.
And you get on that cycle, and you just keep going, and it just seems to overtake you. I always kind of look at it like, okay, my computer has so much file space. Mm-hmm. My brain has so much file space, and I just got to find that bucket that just puts this. Okay, this is later. What's the most important thing I hope to get done today, and just try to narrow it down to 1 or 2. I think sometimes we overtax ourselves. Try to put 10 pounds into a 5-pound bag, and we're unrealistic with our expectations of going in. And I know as we start to get a little older, pulling those all-nighters and just throwing yourself at it doesn't work. So there's something to be said about I can get so much done and with what I have, and this is what I hope to accomplish today. I mean, it kind of oversimplifies it, but if you let every thought come into your head, boy, that can just be absolutely, being a parent, being at work, oh my word, you're managing so many other lives. So interesting. Well, we're going to... next topic, mental health check-in. You can check yourself every day. Just ask yourself this question. When did I eat a whole meal? How important is that, Amy?
It's really important. The food that goes in your body is fuel. Like the fuel that you put in a car, it fuels your body. And so when you look at what research supports right now, it's healthy eating habits, sleep, and physical activity as the top 3 things that can help with depressive or anxiety type of symptoms. And so when you think about the food, having a well-rounded meal, and when I think about food, I think about a family table. And so it's not just what you're eating, it's also connecting with the family around the table, whether that is through a video call because you're off in college and your video call having supper with your parents, or if it is actually at home around the table. So,
Very interesting. It got me thinking on food right now, and I think it's probably a good time to go drop another English muffin in the toaster and fill up the cup of coffee for us, and we'll come back and take a little break now. You're listening to When Things Aren't Going Well, brought to you by Family Services, and hope to bring a little sunshine into your day and talk about things that you can do with your mental wellness. We just finished talking about 3 tips that you can check in on, and we'll come back after the break and talk about a couple more things and try to make your day a little sunshine on you. So with that, peace.
Let's face it, that happens to all of us. However, the pandemic has compounded all of our lives and activities. Even the simplest tasks seem harder. Hi, I'm Brenda Geisinger, the Chief Operating Officer at the Boys and Girls Home and Family Services. Family Services is a United Way partner agency serving children and families of our community, and we're here to help. If you'd like to learn more about Family Services, please contact us via email, website, Facebook, or phone Mary Pickens. At Family Services, we change lives.
Welcome back to When Things Aren't Going Well on KSCJ. Here's Art Silva.
Welcome back to When Things Aren't Going Well. I'm Art Silva. Along with me are my friends, Brenda Geisinger and Amy Small from Family Service. And we hope that you got a full cup of coffee and you can stay with us during our last segment here. With that, when we were talking before the break, we talked about the 5 check-ins that you can do, the self-check-ins that you can do on your mental health. 5 questions that you can ask yourself. The first question was, how am I feeling today, both mentally and physically? Second question, what's taking up most of my headspace? And when we left, the last question was, when did I eat a whole meal? And Amy talked about the importance of the nutrition, but I want to come back to when do I eat a whole meal, because our whole eating habits could be the trigger of a lot of things going on, but some people don't tie that in with the mental part of it. So, Brenda, anything you want to add to that?
I think sometimes people can overeat or undereat when they're struggling with some depression or anxiety or just really struggling with some things going on in their life. What is a normal diet? Having a Snickers and a Diet Coke doesn't necessarily cut it, or eating a whole, pizza doesn't work either. It's kind of finding that balance, what works for your body. Some people need more calories, some need less, but what works for you and fuels your body. The other thing is, what is the content of that meal? Is it all sugar? Too much carbohydrates? You need protein, you need the veggies. It's, the basics you learned in kindergarten. You can have a little snack, you got to have your meals. Sometimes you need 6 meals, small meals. Sometimes you need 3. What works for you? But being aware of that and being healthy and making good choices for yourself.
And I think along with that, Brenda, too, is if there is changes in your eating patterns from what they usually are, that can be a sign that there's depression or other things going on. And so looking at if there's been changes to what's normal for you, what that means.
Interesting. Something that ties into this, and are you seeing it in your clients or in your discussions with your colleagues? We seem to be very food challenged right now. And are you seeing that coming through as a stress, or other people talking more about being access to food?
I think that's definitely an issue right now, because you're looking at people that maybe are laid off from work, or just access to the food. And so knowing where to go and get that and what resources are available to go and get that, it definitely can be a concern. I think the schools have really done a good job stepping up and offering free meal programs. I know through the summer they had offered that, and even adding breakfast for those, even during remote learning. So I think that was a great need that they were trying to fill there.
The Sioux City schools did really step up. We were a part of that program this summer. And when you're on the front line and you see the absolute need and you see the regularity that people come, they depend on that after a while. And especially with us, it was little kids. And boy, anybody needs to get a fundamental foundation to start the day. It's little ones. So, that was a great program. But it's also good to see the community turning out the way it is now, trying to help and provide for that need. So I'm sure it shows up in the stress and the people you talk with. But at the importance of food, just to keep your body up and running. Let me go to another question. Okay, and this is part of the 5 questions you can ask yourself. This one is number 4. Am I tired? Not everybody could. Yup. I'll give you the big yes on that one. But, okay, in regards to your mental wellness, Amy, you want to take that one?
So I think to go along with that is asking yourself, am I tired of being tired? If you're tired of being tired, what are you going to do to change that? Because the first thing is you're naming it and claiming it. But if you just name it and claim it and don't put any action to it, it's just words on a paper or on a vision board, and that's all it is. And so part of this is while there is other people around that can support you, you also have to take some action and put movement into that step. So if you're tired of being tired, what are you going to do to change that? Whether it is, okay, I might not like it, I might be grumbling, but I'm going to wake up a half an hour early and I'm going to do some stretches or some yoga or some aerobics or something to get my endorphins running a little bit in the morning to maybe help me feel a little less tired. Or at 2 o'clock when we have that brain drain, so to speak, okay, instead of sitting in my office and having a Diet Coke and a Snickers bar, I'm going to go walk up and down the hallways a few times to get things moving again. I think a big part of this is if you're tired of being tired, what are you going to do about it?
I remember being in a meeting and working with a colleague, and every 5 minutes on the hour, his watch would go off. And he would walk 5 minutes every hour. And he said, at the end of the day, I did a half hour. And that was his way of just kind of like keeping it really front of mind that I can't do it well. But they'll find ways and get creative to do these things. But, yeah, am I always tired? That's a tough sign. Brenda, are you doing that?
You can also, set a sleep schedule. I have to be to bed by this time so you get enough sleep during the night, and it's restful sleep. That means turning off the computer and turning off the phone and really giving time for your brain to shut down and start relaxing and get some good, solid sleep. Your body needs it, your brain needs it, and to get you a reset for the next day so you can maybe wake up a little bit more refreshed and start. And it may be a discipline. You have to set an alarm so you can go to bed. It sounds a little backwards, but you have to get into that cycle and that pattern. Your brain needs it.
Yeah, I read somewhere along the way, remember, if you don't get, you need sleep to get rid of toxins in your body. So it's just a good, nice sleep. And I had to learn this because I would just run until I was empty. Yeah, a good, nice sleep, a good 7 hours a night is just, you get up, you're ready to take on the challenges of a new day. And it's noticeable. It's noticeable when you don't get your sleep.
That would be a vinegar day.
Okay, let's get down to our fifth question here. What will I engage in today that will bring me joy? Now, that's first of all, can you find joy? That's that. Amy, your thoughts on that?
I think it's really important that we remember to take care of ourselves. I'm a mom, and so sometimes my world gets wrapped around my kiddo, but it's important for me to be the best mom. I also have to take care of myself. And so whatever that is, if it's a 5-minute face mask or, locking myself in the bathroom for 5 minutes just to have that breather, whatever it is, there's a lot of great things that we can do to take care of ourselves, and it is different for each person. If journaling is your thing, journaling is a great way to get thoughts and feelings out. I would challenge you, even on the rough days, to find at least 1 or 2 positive things to mention about your day, even on the tough day. Call a friend, deep breathing, all of those types of things are things that can help bring you a little bit of joy.
How about food? Bringing you joy at the end of the day. I had to put this in my male mindset. Okay, what am I having for dinner tonight? And you kind of look at that as maybe a reward or something like that. But like anything, you don't want to take it to excess. Can't pizza it out every night. But looking at those things, what brings you joy? Sometimes looking at a smile on somebody else's face brings you joy. Do you have that part in you that you can feel that? That you want to give because you're going to get that good feeling back, helping somebody else out, or just something very simple. Brenda, anything you want to
I
say?
think it's recognizing sometimes the simplest of things causes joy. As Dr. Seuss once said, a moment might be a memory. And so cherish that moment. It could be as simple as decorating your Christmas tree, and that conversation you had with Susie Q about hanging up that ornament can be a blessing. And just recognizing this was a joyful moment today, or my coffee was actually hot today. This is great. It can be the simplest things, but taking a moment to realize life is good. I'm here.
You know, that was a great topic. And let me go back and just recap what we talked about today. The 5 mental health check-ins that you can use to give yourself a good check. 1, how am I feeling today? That's mentally and physically. 2, what's taking up most of my headspace? 3, when did I last eat a whole meal? 4, am I tired? And 5, what will I engage in today that will bring me joy? Give those some thoughts over the week. Please, we'd like to have you. If you have any comments, you can send them into Family Services at, or give us a call at 293-4900 or Mary Pickens at bghome.net. And any questions, you got any topics, you can leave them unsigned or signed, whatever, and we'll try to get to them and bring them up on next week's show. Okay, we're going to wrap up today's show, and we want to thank you very much for being with us on When Things Aren't Going Well. And here is a special Christmas present to you, Silent Night, sung by Jill Miller.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, Son of God and love's pure light, radiant beams from thy holy face, with the dawn of redeeming grace. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth, Jesus, Lord, at thy birth, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. And happy holidays. And happy holidays.